Hello, everyone. So, this won't be my standard greeting because you're going to hear that in a minute. I am recording this after I've already recorded all the videos. So, what you're going to hear throughout the videos is going to make it sound like I was going to release these individually. But I changed my mind, and now I'm compiling the entire Batman the Cult into one video. So when you hear me in the video later on saying, okay, we're going to be done for today. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening and all that. I do apologize for that. I didn't edit that out. But all 4 issues will be here in one single video. But the original plan was to just release each video, but I changed my mind and decided to do everything together. So, without further ado, here comes Batman the Cult 1 through 4. Thanks for listening. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my most favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Today we're going to be looking at Batman the Cults 1 and 2 from 1988. These are written by Jim Starlin, who is also the writer of the creator of Thanos, the writer of the Infinity Gauntlet, and the art is by the one and only Byrne Wrightson. May he rest in peace. It's a very good story. Feel free to follow me on social media. I have the links in the description below. I've also put in links to these 2 issues on the DC Wiki page, on the fandom page with DC. So anything, if you want to know a little bit more in depth, feel free to check it out. So, all right, so let's get started here. So right here we have Wayne Manor, kind of an old style Wayne Manor. Really quick, the red just makes this thing pop. Byrne Wrightson did not do the coloring, but Bill Ray really makes this thing sing. So Bruce Wayne is going in, and you can tell right off the top that something's going on. This isn't quite what it is, but Bruce Wayne is walking down in there. It tries to goes down into this cavern, tries to open that trapdoor. Out comes the Joker. The hair, the blonde hair, not my cup of tea. So as I praised him for that red sky, I have to kind of give him the wrong here. I don't like him blonde, but regardless, I did not have a better copy. This is the best copy that I could find. I own all 4 issues of this, so I have the actual individual issues. So this young Bruce Wayne is confronting the Joker. So, and you can see him turning into Batman and then killing the Joker. And it turns out that he did not. He's been dreaming. He's been passed out here, imprisoned for many days, or for a few days. And you can see him chained up here. And so this guy here is going to tell him the story of our main protagonist. Deacon Blackfire is his name. And he apparently has been living for a very long time, and he had gone into a native tribe to try and lead them into Christianity, essentially. But they all ignored him. They all just kind of did their own thing. And he becomes spurned. So he begins to attack the chief here. And soon the natives retaliate and will try to go ahead and kill him, but they did not or could not, and they locked him up. Sort of that Jesus story of Lazarus and that tomb in the rock. So the natives erected a totem that was meant to warn people of the evil that lived inside. And so this guy here, Ratman, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Has nothing but good things to say about the deacon. So, and the deacon speaks here to say that those that haven't seen the light should be given a chance to accept it once they see it. And so, um, Shaman Blackfire or Deacon Joseph Blackfire. So Batman's like, ah, man, he does sort of look, but then he snaps out of it. So the Deacon, so we're kind of going back in time now. The Deacon had set up a homeless shelter in one of the worst areas in Gotham, and Batman kept an eye on him, but um, nothing bad was happening. So he quit watching it, and then he comes across a body here. So this is a sixth body um, that they've come across. Um, Batman sees that there were differences of footprints, so he knows that it's multiple people. And so some more of those homeless people are trying to give like testimony about how good the deacon is and how they used to be kind of like Batman before they found, the way. But he says the deacon saved him and he will save Batman as well. What I like about this story, um, particularly, is Jim Starlin normally doesn't do um, these regular kind of stories. He's more into, if you follow his career, he does the stuff with Thanos and galactic stuff. He the Infinity Gauntlet and space opera, Silver Surfer. But during this time, he was actually writing Batman. So seeing Starlin do something non-galactic, giving him a bit of a normal threat. I mean, there is an element of supernatural because you still have Byrne Wrightson here that has to draw it, but um, he, uh, I think, I think the story is actually pretty decent. So, but Batman says that whatever the Deacon is trying won't work on him because he's too strong. So, and he just keeps saying it over and over. So we're back in the past, and there's a broadcast talking about the homeless where they were no longer sleeping on the streets, and um, the councilman here says it's that the private sector must now be finally helping with the homeless problem. And of course, Bruce Wayne is um, watching the television, and yes, this is 1988. Televisions were still uh, through a tube. So, um, and he wonders where were the homeless people going at night. So we then shift back to the imprisoned Batman. So we're the natives um, left the area. There was no game. The stuff was dying, but another tribe killed them, and the homeless guy says thus they paid for their sins that way. The homeless guy goes, anybody who has to doubt that's their fate. So now we're back to remembering in the past, and this guy shot the guard there as they were going to rob this place. It looks like we have some electronics here, a home video recorder, a VCR. So, and the crooks would have gotten away with it here. Um, but here are those homeless people who ended up killing all the robbers. The next morning, Batman is here looking at the carnage, and he's just surprised nobody bothered to conceal anything, so he follows the blood and sees the manhole here. So he, of course, deducts that they went underneath into the sewers. So he goes down to go take a look. Now we going back, and he's telling the story of when the Dutch landed around 1609 and into Gotham City, and they start to build their cabins. So some settle in the lands where the natives were, others settle inland. But they found this, and they were gonna make it into like a storage area. And when they open it, the deacon is still in there alive. He says that the shaman could see the darkness in their heart, so he dealt with them. Batman thinks about how long since he ate, and notices that they're feeding him the minimum. And it's similar to how cults kind of, that's how they get people. A lot of times they pretend to care for you, but they're really just giving you enough. They're making you weak, all that kind of stuff. So that's essentially what they're doing to Batman here. So we're kind of going crisscrossing back and forth real quick. When Wrightson draws the horns, it's a different, you don't see very many people drawing them like that. So Wrightson and Starlin collaborated in 3 projects. The Weird, which starts the JLI, which I have already have a video of those. He did this one, and then he did a Punisher one. So we'll see if I get around to doing that one. But the Punisher one is also pretty cool. Byrne Wrightson is just an incredible artist. So rest in peace. So here he's still kind of looking to see if he can find some more as to what was happening that night, and then he hears a gunshot and sees that guy being shot at. He says that these kinds of people, he always sees them, they're mean, they're cruel, they're evil, they're just they don't have regards. So Batman quickly disposes of them. So, but he doesn't notice behind him, of course, is this figure, and shoots Batman on the side, and he gets a drop on him, but all of a sudden you see this, and he's been stabbed from behind by this gentleman here. Batman, of course, is losing blood, so he falls unconscious, and I love how the panel is being broken up like shards of glass, and the homeless guy is taking Batman into the covers, and then slowly, good visuals here. So So the deacon says that God has sent him to him. He welcomes him and gives Batman a kiss in the cheek. And then here in the office of Commissioner Gordon, um, he's been Batman has been gone over a week. I love the silhouette, just the light showing this illuminated. So I believe this is Robin here wearing his old costume. So the commissioner says it's like an epidemic. There's so many people have been disappearing around town. So, and even the cops are terrified of what's going on out in Gotham. So this guy's walking through, and there's, this is like I said, a more adult type thing. Um, and he insults the guy walking, and of course from behind. So, so now we're back to recounting the shaman story. So a couple days later, some of the settlers that were by the shore went inland. They see all this blood, but there are no bodies. And the only thing is that this other a person had a trapper, so he killed animals for fur. He claimed to have seen a naked native walking through the woods from the settlement. So, and Batman's like, let me guess, it was the big bad Deacon Blackfire, right? Of course, the homeless guy takes it. Um, he doesn't think it's a joke, so he takes this stick, gets it nice and hot, and of course, then you hear Batman scream with the Deacon listening. I forgot how long these are, so we're just gonna do one issue at a time. So we may have to do four total issues. So I do apologize. I was gonna try to at least do two and two, but um, it's already at 15 minutes. So I don't like keeping people too long. So we'll get along with this here. So Batman goes back into unconsciousness, and then we're um, back later, and this gentleman here is waiting, and they say, "Hey, Cedar, is that you?" And he's like, "Who wants to know?" He says, "Me, I guess." And he says he's got a message from Sally. He's like, "I don't." Oh yeah, Sally. And then he's like, "What does she want?" And he says, "Vengeance." And suddenly, boom! Here they come, and then you of course see the blood spilled, and they're dragging the body. So one of the sergeants tells the commissioner that, man, he's never seen this many people missing, over 500. But he says that almost all of them have police records. Almost all the people that have um, been killed and missing. Um, I think this is Jason Todd. So although it is a bit more, he's portrayed a little older. So, but I believe this is Jason Todd. So, um, so we're back now. Citizens, kind of being interviewed, and here's this lady here who says that the gentleman they killed, Isidro, was her pimp. She worked for him for 2 years, but one time he came in all coked up and just accused her of holding out. And with a straight razor, you can see Batman just saying, "Oh my God." And then, of course, you see her eye is missing and she's all scarred up and missing her fingers here. So, um, the deacon says Isidro will never harm anyone, and Batman says, "You murdered him." He says, "No, I executed him." And Batman says it's wrong, and of course they get into that whole bad people, that moral, the case of morality. What do? Do you kill these people? But Batman, of course, believes in the system, and the deacon's telling him how terrible it is, that the innocent must be protected. It's a cesspool out there. The police can't handle it. um, weak laws, all the stuff that um, some people say, it's the same stuff in the 80s, today it just life doesn't change. Technology changes, but it's always the, the way people react and act that doesn't change. So, and he needs Batman to um, help him. Of course, the guy is uh, using drugs to kind of keep Batman um, under control. And he even knows what you do to me. And he's like, don't be afraid. Let the glory be revealed to you. And he tells him, they're on the same side. They should join forces. Of course, now that Batman is drugged, he's much easier to convert, and takes him to another area. And of course, Batman is very surprised about what he sees, and it's that totem that it's been built, but it's grown. And you can see this guy's on his knees, and it's a symbol of his power. And so um, Batman just looks at it, and the eyes start to glow, and you can see him glowing here. And he's like, "Yes, yes, I like the coloring on Batman." And he has essentially converted, and he falls down, tells him to take him away, and the Deacon, of course, is smiling because now Batman's under his power. So we just have a couple pages left here. This kid here is called Don Perry, and he draws, and he um, tries to do good, tries to keep his nose clean. He wants to be a illustrator, a comic book artist one day. And just like Jack Kirby, it even says, but of course, he doesn't get that chance, and he is, it doesn't say it, but we can assume he's been killed by these evil thugs. And this guy comes out and goes, "I can't believe you converted Batman," and he's helping, he's helping the Deacon, but not really falling for him. So they go up, and he says he's watched Gotham grow from the beginning, and he's always wanted to own it. And he says he's about to now with Batman. Um, so issue 1 of Batman the Cult, and I will be on the lookouts for issues 2, 3, and 4 as well. Thanks for listening. Bye. We're going to be looking at The Cult number 2, illustrated by the one and only Byrne Wrightson. This was a prestige format series. I have all 4 issues. Everything that I show, I own. I just choose to use digital because it's so much easier, and you can even see what great representation of this was. I mean, or reproduction of this. Oh, you can still see the original art even. So Jim Starlin is the writer, and Byrne Wrightson inks and pencils it, or pencils and inks it. Oh, I'm so sorry, I can't even talk today. With Bill Ray as the colorist. So this is quite the I don't it's a cool story per se, but I just thought some Byrne Wrightson, rest in peace Byrne Wrightson. So here we go. So if you remember the previous issue, we left off, and the Batman had sort of been brainwashed into joining that cult. And here we have him going on against Two-Face. I do like the watercolors in there. Now you may be wondering, what the heck? These watercolors just don't seem to to go at it. Well, Batman is kind of delirious, and nothing says delirium like. And if you remember the Sandman by Neil Gaiman, Delirium, one of the Endless, she uses all these colors, sort of like a rainbowish type of thing, because it's just from one color to the next. It's just, and so Batman is not quite. He's delirious. They've been keeping him here. He shoots Two Face, and it's just, as we know of, it's not Two Face. Now, here's the thing. I like this magenta for the blood and just running into the shirt. We see him here holding this gun, and then he drops this gun, and then we see everybody he has just been part of. Now, this is not. It is hard to imagine Batman actually killing someone, but this, when you see him dropping the gun and the fact that the gun is right there and he shot, it is. I am convinced that Batman did murder this poor dude here, and all those people are being murdered by all the members of this cult here, and Batman is just watching this, and you can see he's shocked. So again, did he kill that person? Some people say no, it was all in his mind, but the gun is there, so I don't know. So he's having this nightmare scenario here, and then he tries to save this guy who was about to get killed, but then that didn't work. So and Batman, of course, has the blood in his hand. This guy says, let's go. And they're taking the dead. So very very weird. So Batman asks, why are they taking the dead? And he says so that the evil ones can be consigned to hell and the true believers will be at God's side. And so Batman's asking more, but he's like, enough. So it's just one of those things of kill them all and let God sort it out. So Batman, of course, sees the food. He's been hungry. They've sort of been, and of course they're not letting him eat because, of course, you gotta keep them hungry to keep them weak. So here, Batman's thinking, he knows his name. He's like, I obey because the deacon speaks through him. So it's, and if you remember the first issue, then you remember, how he's brainwashed. So, and, so he orders Batman around. Batman's like, sure. And, it's just seeing Batman just weaken like this is it's very difficult. This was quite the little controversial series, but Batman is human, so he would have the same follies. We think of Batman as this, he is an awesome character, but he's also human. So he doesn't have superpowers, but it just follows the same playbook of everyone can be broken spiritually. So he wanted to go in here to see the deacon, but this guy won't let him. So he waits, and even here you can see I've been converted. I have seen the truth, and he just sits there and wait. I do like this panel here. And just the passing of time, just the dripping. He just continues to sit there. Batman is sort of having doubts, but at the same time, He's believing this deacon, and here, more delirium. He's hungry. His head hurts. Just all that stuff. He's just imagining the worst. And he's interrupted here by this rat face kind of person. He says that he has a job that they have to do, and Batman says the deacon's work, and he says, "Oh, of course, that there's a pimp in their own neighborhood, and that the deacon wants him to take care of it." So the second in command says, "Where'd Batman go?" And this guy's like, "Oh, somewhere with rat face," and he's like, "God damn." So you can see how Batman is looking at the rat face like an angel, like some kind of angel with the sword. I love the analogy, and he is Otis Johnson, drug fiend and pimp. And when you look at it, it's just an old man loading some boxes in there. He's like, he doesn't look like a pimp. Look, and then he's just going from one to the other. So Ratface is gonna go take care of him. Batman's like, "No, don't," but he's too late, and ends up killing this poor guy. And the cops get there, and he sees him. Ratface is gonna go kill the cop, and Batman, of course, jumps in to protect him. Not again, and punches Ratface, which of course knocks him out. And the cop's trying to help Batman, but Batman wants, real quick, I love the ears, how Byrne does them. This is really cool. All right, so Batman wants to go back with the deacon, and the cop's trying to stop him. So Batman ends up hitting the cop, and now he's pondering what to do. First thing he wants to do is get some food. So here, the guy's telling the deacon that they haven't seen Batman or Ratface in over an hour. The deacon says, and that the guy that was his neighbor, that he hated him because he was black and had a white girlfriend. Which, by the way, it was in the other part in there, but so basically, Ratface was a racist, and the deacon asks how Batman's conversion is going. He says Batman's been docile, but he's due for another drug booster. But Ratface was a willing convert, and he was never drugged. And he says if he's caught, that he knows a lot about the operation. So Deacon, of course, isn't too happy about that. And so in here, Batman is just kind of how from the cave people and all that, and he's hungry and he grabs the meat, which kind of helps a little bit with it. And this it's a different tale than what you're used to with modern superheroes and stuff, but it's pretty cool story. So like the deacon thought, he turned everything in. So the guy basically is saying that sees himself as a messiah. He's running around killing crooks. He basically thinks that he's creating a political backing, setting himself up as the hero of the people. He wants to take over Gotham, and you can see here the Commissioner Gordon, all these, probably the DA and stuff. So great panel there. Still, the coloring is different. So and I think it's again to convey the madness that Batman is feeling. So and here, just going through all these things, so, and now on the news, the deacon, they've issued a warrant for his arrest, and they have identified what all the basically the plot is. So they see it. He says, it doesn't change much. They're gonna go public within a few weeks, and that their power base is solid and it can't hurt them. So of course, most of these people do see him as a hero because he's killing criminals and or what is considered, scums. So, and I believe that's what people would do. So, of course, here's they're talking about Batman perhaps joining, and that they're going to investigate Gordon for aiding and abetting Batman. Robin, of course, thinks he's being held captive by the Deacon, but they seem to have a plan here that they're going to go through. Now at the park, Batman observes this young couple, and he comes out and tells them run away, which they do. And he's still eating, still going through stuff. And this guy's coming through. We can't see him. It happens to be Robin, which is Jason Todd. So Batman's feeling a little bit better. He's starting to remember that the Deacon drugged and tortured him, and realizes that's never happened before. He ponders. Batman just realizes that he is human after all. So he says that he needs to go and face the Deacon. Face your demons, essentially. He still hasn't quite, because now he sees himself as a guardian, so or as some kind of gladiator or noble warrior. So in his head, he's still a little drugged, and you can see here he's still bleeding. So. And so now the Deacon, of course, is gathering his troops, riling them up. The commissioner asking for, for the warrant that, they're all victims. And of course, these are all people who have a reason to distrust the government. People with mental disabilities and homeless, and just you help those, they'll be loyal to you. So so it just goes to show that he has an army that can help him. Now this part here is kind of cool. So he's like, we're gonna do this, it's the will of God and everything. And of course the people, he says we're gonna take control of the city, and everybody's all happy, but Batman's just gonna walk, and everyone's like, yeah, and Batman's just gonna go boop 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 boop, and walk among them, and just nobody stops him, nobody notices him or anything. And he, of course, is going to break into the Deacon's home, and of course he's living like a king. He's not living like everybody else. And here he is, sheer luxury. So, which angers Batman, of course, a little bit. But that is exactly how it is. These people that fall into cults or religious places. I'm not saying all religion is bad. That's not what I'm trying to say. But, these people just... I know this is what happens and how things go through, but I digress. Batman knows that everything was a lie, that all this was done with drugs, and he's going to direct the police. He's gonna go, but here's a shadow, so someone is coming from behind, because Batman's shadow obviously is here, and he's hit from behind. It's just... this little thing, it looks almost like a chicken wing or a chicken drumstick. So the Deacon is tells him that it's a shame he would have been such an asset, but just too strong-willed. Tell him to take him to the bathing room and slit his throat. His blood will be rich and nurturing. So this guy bathes in blood. Of course, love that smile. I can't wait, he says. And so Robin, of course, sees this. So the mayor, of course, he's Commissioner Gordon is trying to tell him, the situation is great, but the mayor's like, I can't be uh, bothered with crimes from the sewers. He's got enough trouble. I love the limousine. I don't think politicians go around in limousines, but they do use Escalades and stuff like that. But the you can see the manhole cover here, and they only show you this because you gotta look at it here. So, and of course the guy's putting a bomb in there and then goes away. So. And being a politician, he's of course trying to stay away from everything. Commissioner's like thinking jerk, and then boom, and knocked off. Of course, that they killed the mayor. Of course, this they're like, oh my God, the mayor was just killed. They're gonna call in a town meeting, and of course he'll be the new mayor. I guess they'll because they'll have to appoint a new mayor, and he's gonna already say what his plans are. You can see this truck's approaching, getting closer and closer, so you can tell that something's going up. And of course, they kill that gentleman that was going to be the second in command here. So this reporter says they have killed the mayor and the entire city council. That the Deacon Blackfire says that these killings were all done by organized crime, and he has information that's linking them, and that he's going to use his organization to keep, peace while everything. And so the police commissioner says that the deacon is responsible. Kind of this whole thing of pitting one against the other. So it does seem preposterous because we all know that if something like that happened, there's a governor and you can't kill everyone in control in a city and think that that's going to be, it's not that easy. You don't just get to set yourself up as king of a city or whatever. It doesn't quite work that way, but it is comics, so we're not going to overthink it. So here, Batman is going to be taken to the that room. His head's getting clearer. Poor guy, with all the bacteria and all that stuff, that poor wound's gonna get so infected. And everybody's following him, and we all know he's Batman, so he's starting to feel better, and Batman's gonna do Batman things. And kicks everybody off. Shoot him, they fail. He throws himself into that filthy water with that wound. I'm telling you, I hope he's got some antiseptic in the sewer, because yikes. So everybody's shooting, and you can see more pools of blood here. And they're waiting to see, they're thinking that they get him. Where's the body? And they're like, well, they wanted us to take him to there. And they go, so he'll be mad. And they're like, big deal. So you can see that guy doesn't believe too much of it. And so now Robin comes out. I hate this uniform. So did a lot of people. That's why his uniform was redesigned. So he now jumps into the water. Ugh, yuck. So the commissioner asked for the files for the deacon, and they said, well, he's wondering why it's taking so long. And turns out that that guy wasn't kidding. He's been alive for quite a while, and that's what they have in him, so much that they need a whole little mail cart. Robin's yelling for Batman, and sees the rats. The rats all go into the water, and Ugh, filthy sewer water. Ugh. And Robin goes deep. Oh my goodness, I'm just thinking of all the diseases that are in there. Ugh, sewer scenes. And swimming like it's a frigging swimming pool. Ugh. And it's he says, "Man, it smells terrible, decay, rot." And then it goes black, and he's yelling at Batman. Batman answers, and he's like, "What is this place?" And he says, "Hell." And he says, "He's been bad. This is his punishment." And so you can't see much. So probably easiest panels to draw. And then he takes out his little flashlight and sees all these bodies, all these dead, rotting bodies, and eventually gets it on Batman. Batman says, "Welcome to hell. Welcome to hell. Welcome to hell. Welcome to hell." And we end with this double page splash. Just amazing stuff. So Bernie Wrightson, rest in peace, my man. Great illustrator. Hope you enjoyed this. This is issue number 2 of Batman the Cult. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening. So now we're going to get to issue 3 here. Beautiful cover by Bernie Wrightson. Dude's just amazing. It's worth looking again. Just wow. Amazing cover. Just beautiful. So Jim Starlin, writer, Bernie Wrightson, pencil and inks, colorist is Bill Ray, and John Constanza is the letter. John Constanza is a solid letterer. So here we are, chapter 3, Escape. So Gotham City has fallen into chaos. The homeless people that Deacon Blackfire, he's the one who murdered all those city officials that opposed the Deacon's designs. They're basically taken over here. So it's essentially what it is, a cult here. And you can see here, this is a very graphic. I mean, this was not meant for kids, which is kind of weird because they put Batman. But in the 8, after the Dark Knight Returns did so well, DC sort of decided, hey, we're gonna try more adult books and more adult stuff with our characters. So Marvel does it, but they only do that with certain characters like the Punisher, Daredevil. But and once in a while you'll see them do, but they don't they don't do that too often. Particularly Spider-Man, although there have been a little bit of stuff done. But and then this is Jason Todd as Robin. During this time, it was very inconsistent because in Detective Comics, Jason Todd was portrayed more as a preteen, and Jim Starlin pretty much had him like in his late 16, 17-year-old. So, and then this is his old costume. Now, the colorist here is choosing a lot of reds, which it'd be a little nice to have a little separation of colors, but it's all right. So, Robin slaps Batman. So, Batman's trying to get over all the hallucinations that he's been going through and withdrawing from the drugs that he's been in. So, Robin asks, what are we going to do now? Batman just has that face. They're going to get out, and then they're going to figure it out, make a plan as they go along. So, the Deacon, Batman says, broke him. Similar to how Bane broke Batman, but the Deacon's never been used again, to my knowledge. So you'll have to look in the DC fan page to see if he's been used, but I don't think so. So Batman tells him, he's been drugged and brainwashed. So, and he says he wasn't strong enough. So Robin tells him people think he's a hero. It's guy he's polarized, and um, Batman just can't believe what's going on here. So Robin's going after him. He says that they need to stop him, and Batman's still very unsure. So here we have a couple of people here just saying, good, bad, and whatsoever. So meanwhile, Commissioner Gordon is going through all the crimes that the Deacon has committed, but it starts out in 1921, and all the crimes he's been involved. He was a armed robbery, bootlegging, a hitman, the 40s, attempted murder, worked as an enforcer in the 50s, so the 60s in 1975, and 1981. Of course, this is during 1988, so um, Commissioner Gordon says, he's a dude in his mid 40s. Um, this guy here says, maybe it was his dad. He says maybe, but of course, fingerprints don't work that way. So, he says they got a man in Blackfire's organization, or sorry, they've got to get a man into Blackfire's organization and ask for volunteers. And he says, you don't need one, you've got one. So he's gonna volunteer. So, and here they sort of look like The Walking Dead. Bernie Wrightson's art. Rest in peace, Bernie. So more interviews. So the inner sanctum of the Deacon here, and this is his. Oh my gosh, what is his name? I forgot. So anyway, he was looking at the report and says that the reporter missed the point that the devotees will fatten the ranks of his following, um, and that it will, he's already taken over Gotham City. So now we're going to get a little bit of insight into him, how he was satisfied. He was kind of like them. He was satisfied to just wander the wilderness alone. But as civilization destroyed the wilderness, he was forced to return to the people. It does goes to show you, people keep going everywhere. This planet is essentially going to be losing a lot of, there's so much. This is me talking, not the character here, but there's so much deforestation. We're slaughtering wildlife. So much stuff is happening. So I do understand that point here. So so we continued to him. He felt like an outcast. Too much had changed, and the social had, what was acceptable had already changed. I bet you these are all drawn. So I bet you he drew it once and then everything else was photocopied. So he needed to be accepted again by the people, and crime helped him uh, gain, but that didn't work out. Criminals, of course, aren't to be trusted. They put their own interest before his, and that mistake cost him prison time in the 40s. But that he found crooks of his caliber. Jake Baker, yep, that's his name. He makes excellent managers to it. So he tried politics, but whims. People are fickle. I've always said that these parties, control the people. And there was so much stuff, but there was only one way to ensure that everyone wants what you want, and he said religion, and that is true. With religion, you people are eager to believe. They'll believe anything. So he became a redeemer, a messenger of God's word. So, um, he asked him about the blood because he bathes him in blood. He said blood buys him the time to learn such lessons. So we go back to Batman and Robin. Robin asks him where they are, and Batman says no idea. He's never been in this section of the sewer before, as if he wouldn't know. Man, can you imagine the stench down there? Um, but he says there's something familiar about the passage. Robin discovers something and finds that totem that was um that Batman had seen before. And Batman says it was at least 50 feet tall. How? And then how, of course, it would be the drugs. So the deacon had verbally suggested, and he saw it that way. So back to the reporters, and now Commissioner Gordon. He's talked to the governor and says that they're going to declare martial law around Gotham City, and that it's within heavy heart that they make that decision, and if there was any other way to handle the problem, they would have. And of course, we see someone here peeking in, and the gun. Um, so Batman says it's all a trick. So we're at the armory. They say the whole town's gone nuts, and this guy out here. This is also a bad idea, but I understand. Why they would say it, but of course he says the city should do is give the cops what we've got stored here, let them run free for 24 hours with no silly regulations, and then offer up a bounty for every dead crook and crazy that they bring in. So then suddenly there's a job. Yeah, you can't do that either. So they said, did you hear that? And he says, sure did. Looks like it came over here, and of course they're about to be ambushed. So, back underneath the sewer, Commissioner Gordon's still going that it's in a state of emergency. This guy says, you bet your ass it is, and then kablam. And Gordon has been shot. So, this is the governor saying that the city is in martial law and calling in the National Guard, and that there's a curfew of 8 p.m. So, back to Batman and Robin. Robin asks Batman if he's okay. Batman says yes, just tired from the withdrawal and his wounds, and to get a move on it. Robin says there's a sound like a whistling coming from the tunnel. They go check it out, and someone's singing the an old tune, or whistling Tiny Bubbles. So they're going to climb, and they're going to look through it, and all these people, their necks have been sliced open, and he's bathing in blood. He says that is the secret to eternal life. It is not, but hey, why not? He bathes once in a moon cycle, and you will live forever. So that's a lot of blood. Let me tell you, those two are not capable of filling all this. So he needs more people to slit their throat. So Batman says, let's get out of here. I do like this use of magenta. And Robin steps on a can. I hate this costume of Robin's. That was I'm so glad they updated it. This costume is terrible. But They hear that. Baker says it's Batman. Batman and Robin are going away. Um, Deacon says to get him that he can't escape, and he tells all his minions where Batman is and to go get him. So Batman and Robin are running away while everybody else is trying to get him. Robin throws a gas canister, and they make their escape. Batman feels useless. He's still rather weak. So we're gonna go with a TV here. So they're saying that there's a lot. They're gonna do like an editorial here that there's a lot of divisionness over Deacon Blackfire's crusade against crime, and that the TV is gonna network is going to make its position clear on the matter. So you can see here someone's gonna cut a line here, but they said the city is administered by elected officials. These officials were then elected by the people, not, and Deacon Blackfire was not. So they're gonna be bringing a cable, and then he's like, the Deacon can't be given control. So looks like we're gonna have them cut some stuff. So Deacon Blackfire is a criminal, all that kind of stuff. So they're gonna take the side of the police. They got someone on the inside. Again, I love the use of the magenta. And they said, they urge the governor to put a stop to it. And then they're like, now they're being invaded. And this guy tells or goes from behind a reporter and kills him, blowing his brains out. See, this is not a kid's comic book, even though it had Batman. You put this in there now, you sell it, which I know it's out of print at the moment. This, I don't know when the last time this was released. It is out of print at the moment, but you put this in a bookstore next, and kids would just see Batman. So, not that I believe in a rating, and I think kids can see this to a degree, but definitely wouldn't want a young child seeing it. But I think teenagers, by all means, could see it. There's no difference than a PG-13 stuff. So, the Deacon has now told them that he's the bearer of bad news. The criminal conspiracy has thrown the city into chaos. That the current administration is inadequate to deal with them, and the criminal elements are in the verge of seizing control of Gotham, and they're going to take over the reins of government to maintain order, and that he will protect them. That's not it's funny the stuff you can do in comic books and in stories that just it would never happen in the real world. So you cannot control a big city like that. It's just too much stuff in there. It's impossible. Not to mention governors, National Guard, U.S. military. It won't work. So Robin throws the last of the gas capsules, and there's just too many people, and they're gonna blow the tunnel. And so here they go. And there's still more people. So they're going to have to fight their way. And tells Batman, don't just stand there, run. Batman is, of course, not doing very well. And so they run, but there's too many of them. So, and Batman is like, I guess it's time to stand and fight. So, time to go out in style, and let's party. This is so Jim Starlin, of course, and we will be covering Death in the Family, but this is why people then began to think that Robin was unlikable. So he does draw a more adult version of Robin. You can even see by the size how he's drawn. And it was drawn that way during um, Starlin's run in Batman. So I wonder if that was him telling people, "Hey, make him big or make him more old." So Batman, of course, is helpless here. Robin's begging for help, tells he needs help, do something. Batman's just standing there while Robin's just being overwhelmed. Now we kind of keep getting closer to Batman, and finally, boom! Batman's gonna fight. That's what we're waiting for. Robin's excited about it. All right, he says. So, a lot of panels here. I do like it. Back in those days, there was a lot of panels to tell the story. That's why these stories are so concise and so. I love this page. I think this is the cover to the collected edition. Again, look at that magenta from behind him there. This choice of colors I do agree with. I do like this. Very cool. And Batman knocked everyone out. So Robin asks, if he's okay, or just you can tell here, and you can see that he's still kind of dazed. That's what these little things are. So now Robin's gonna help him take outside. So we've got the National Guard here, the police, everybody. Oh no, just the National Guard, no police. So they're getting ready to act and take back the city. Of course, there's people listening, and so says where they're at. They're gonna go down into the sewer. Tell them to keep an eye. So, of course, we all know it's not gonna work out very well. And they lost the lights, and you can see here that they're coming. So, and suddenly you can see that they're being attacked and slaughtered. Wow, look at all this splatter. That's pretty cool. I wonder if this was all done with early computer coloring. Because I don't know how you would hand do this. I mean, I can, but the it just looks like early computer coloring. So, and guy comes to your help, and they're trying to pull him out, but turns out he's dead, and all the units are being attacked. They're all being wiped out. Um, he says get the governor on the line. The governor says that he's forced to um, declare Gotham City a disaster area, and they're going to request, or he's going to request assistance to the federal government and for all the citizens to evacuate. That would be the worst. Talk about panic. The situation has deteriorated so much the municipal government can no longer protect the citizens. So everybody is leaving. This would be a big mistake, just like this guy's saying here. And someone's gonna shoot, aims at the soldier, boom, and kills Billy here. Boom, and kills Billy's friend. So looks like all the bad guys are winning. So Deacon says the city's his or ours, but he knows it means him. So, and it's time to celebrate the start of a new day. So Batman finally makes it to the subway. He makes it out. See the city has fallen. So they're going into this bar, and I like that they look at him and it's like Batman and his brat. So, um, they work for the Deacon, and so time to fight some more. Um, there's a badass Robin in this series. So he asks Batman for help. Of course, this is the kind of a mean Batman now that he's kind of still in the effects of the drugs, or he's trying to kick him off his system. But so he says to call Alfred. He wants to get out of here, and so Batman gets an update of everything that's kind of been happening. So that's kind of what this is. This seems like a recap to make to so that Batman can see sort of what's been going on. Very Dark Knight Returns here with this. So the TV keeps giving him bad news. Batman looks at the mug, looks at the TV, throws the mug at it, breaks it. Robin says Alfred will be here in 10 minutes. Asks what's the story with the TV, and he says it was a lousy plot. So, and Alfred arrives in a limousine. How? Oh, goodness gracious. Comic books. That is funny. So, asked if everything was okay. Alfred has a gun, says nothing he couldn't handle. And he goes, where to? He says, anywhere out of Gotham. So Robin thought they would go to the cave and ask for help. And he says, we're not coming back to Gotham, never coming back. What? And Batman says, the city belongs to Deacon. There's nothing more we can do. It's lost. And he tells Alfred to get moving. Thus, we conclude issue number 3. So, we only have one to go. So, hope you enjoyed it. Batman the Cult from 1988 by Byrne Wrightson. As artist, Jim Starlin as your writer. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening. So, we are now in our last issue. Hope you've been enjoying this series so far. Another great cover by Byrne Wrightson. Again, rest in peace, Byrne. Great painted cover. Same credits. Man, what a great drawing. Him with the gun. Oh, it's just striking. And then one of the other cool things is the green. How uses the green just to give it just a little bit. One of the coolest thing I think Jim Starlin did was play to Byrne Wrightson's strength as a horror artist. And here with the Waynes, zombifying them, it is just great. I love these those big horns. So his parents are expressing how disappointed they are in him, and here is where Batman says he's going back to Gotham, and then he wakes up from his dream and realizes he really does need to go back. Alfred interrupts, asks him if he's okay, and he tells him that a shipment from the Styles Corporation has arrived, and Jason is checking out the onboard equipment, and Batman says he'll be down as soon as he dresses, and he wants the weapon systems installed before the sun sets. And then Alfred asks him if he's returning to Gotham City, and he says very softly, yes, tomorrow night. Alfred puts his hand on his shoulder, tells him he's going to be, everything's going to work out because he's Batman and he'll do just fine. And then he hopes that Alfred is right. The color choices here, he looks sick. I mean, I don't know if I would have gone with coloring him blue, but hey. So Bruce is um some internal monologue. For nearly a decade, he's been the unbeatable Batman. In 10 years, he's been leaping into the jaws of death and, pretty much always coming out on stop. He's fought the worst of the worst and always beat them. Always came out the winner. He believed himself invincible, but says all that changed here. The Deacon, Blackfire changed it. He changed, drugged, tortured, and brainwashed him. He broke him. And the Deacons succeeded where many of them had failed, and you can see the despair. Um, and It's been a week, and all the wounds seem to be healing. But it's all an illusion because inside he's nothing but broken glass. So he is still recovering emotionally from everything that has happened to him. And Batman says he's going to try to put it all together. Maybe the healing power of fire will make things right. The fire of battle. And that the Batman is going to come for him. So it looks like he's ready to pick up the pieces and go. So now we're going to get the reporter here kind of letting us know what's been going on. So this is kind of cool. This is sort of what happened in the third Batman movie with Christian Bale when Bane took over Gotham City. Um, so the newscaster says it's been 2 weeks now since Deacon Blackfire occupied the city. So 2 weeks have since passed then since the last issue. And 7 days ago, the Deacon's forces took over and drove all the police and half the population away from Gotham. And he's sealed off the rest of the city from the rest of the world, turning Gotham into his own autonomous kingdom. So she continues to explain just how bleak things are. So, Gotham has become extremely difficult to get information and reports out of. Half the population ignored the governor's evacuation order. Hundreds of these citizens have been processed into forced labor gangs and become slaves. Deacon Blackfire is building fortifications on the outer perimeter, making Gotham an armed fortress. Those who resisted enslavement have reportedly been dealt with harshly. And you can see here they've been hung. They're saying that one of their people, Ted Rogers, remained in the city to continue to report what is happening. And a General Pry sent a band of Delta Commandos to make an entry into the city. But when they interview him, real quick, kind of blue on blue. I don't know if I like that color choice. Probably would have either gone with a more reddish background, but it just kind of seems these are all very cool colors. So the general says everything that could go wrong did go wrong. As soon as the helicopter touched down, they were fired upon by snipers, and that there's snipers in every window, and they somehow knew that they were coming. And he says that the bad guys basically outnumbered the soldiers that were sent 6-1. There were no survivors, and the reporter says they'll be broadcasting a special report later, and to join them at 10 o'clock. So we got dart practice, and it was basically Batman and Robin shooting the darts here. I've been covering Detective Comics, and the Robin that is shown in there with it is Jason Todd. He's much younger, more innocent, perhaps. And Jim Starlin portrays him more older and reckless. So the Jim Starlin Robin was sort of unlikable. So I think that's why people all voted the way they did. Because I tell you, the Robin that was portrayed in Detective Comics was not the same Robin that was portrayed in Starlin's Batman. So here, Batman and Robin were practicing using the tranquilizer darts. Um, Robin thinks it's strange to for them to be using guns. Batman tells them that they won't be facing just a handful of criminals. They're going up against an army, and their armament must be adjusted accordingly, and it's not gonna be easy. And Robin says, "Hey, look!" And here comes a bat, and you would think Bernie Wrightson, and he probably really did do a good anatomical bat, but I don't know. I probably would have made this, I don't know, a little bit more comic-y, but you know. Um, and Bruce sees it, and I like this scene kind of going. I don't know why the cool colors. It's just it's quite a choice. So and he's remembering his parents, and here's Joe Chill, and we get a sneak peek of Batman's origin as he kills his parents and runs away. And Robin asks him if he's okay, and Batman confesses that he's been fooling himself. He always claimed that he became Batman to avenge the death of his parents to fight crime, but that was a lie. He really did it to overcome the fear. I can see that. And Batman kind of walks away. I do like the use of the darker reds, kind of like a sunset type thing. And so now we got the general here. He's saying logistics is the biggest problem. The bridges have all been blown up, restricting the access to Gotham. They can't make a big push with tanks or armored uh, carriers. And sending troops. The prisoners have a high number. I don't believe it. You would send the entire military. You can't tell me that the Deacon has so many that they would outnumber the army. Nah, even logistically. But hey, it's comic books, so they don't want to use air power because it would cause millions of dollars in property damage, and so the president wants to hold off a decision. Casualties on both sides would be in the thousands. So there's a congressional debate over the Gotham crisis, and there's a wide divergence of opinions on how the matter should be handled. Um, One, that this is an armed revolution and it must not allow it to continue, and think it's time about exercising our nuclear options. That is funny. Yeah, let's blow a nuke. And so this guy here says, no, armed force is not the problem. We need to solve it diplomatically. Negotiate with Deacon Blackfire and his followers, and an ambassador, treat Gotham as they would a sovereign nation. And Alfred, he's gonna turn off just blatherdash. I love that word. So Batman and Robin are gonna run some tests, and they're gonna use one of their tactical missiles on this dead tree, which they blow to smithereens. Batman says right on target and that they're ready. Now, these reports do get annoying, but it's a way to tell people kind of what's happening without having to draw all that stuff. It's just easier to put a reporter on it, but it does get so annoying with the whole newscaster thing. So, a group of citizens try to escape through the bridge, but machine gunners on nearby roof opened fire and killed everyone, men, women, and children, that try to escape. So here, Batman and Robin. This Robin's old costume, I it's a good idea how when they updated it to a better costume because um yeah, that did not work very well. So I love it. Time to boogie. Batman says they gotta make one stop first. So again, more reporting here. So she says they have one of the Lieutenant Blackfire's members. He got away and surrendered, and he basically says he believed in the Deacon, but once he sees control, he dropped all pretense of being a good guy, and now he orders mass executions. He's seen hundreds of people die. He couldn't take it anymore. It's now that he has control. He wants to punish punish it and himself. He's got some kind of death trip, and here's the Deacon says, "The fool, of course I want to die." So the Deacon says martyrdom is the destiny of all messiahs. It is the only way to validate divine inspiration. The faithful expect their saviors to suffer death, defending their religious principles. And there's nothing more boring than a deity who hangs around, passes a lot of time. Um, and basically, he is awaiting his death. Anything other than dying uh, gloriously would be anticlimactic. Dramatic balance calls for his death. He eagerly awaits his end. This guy goes, dude is crazy. He wants to die. And I forgot the name of the assistant, but he's like, we all knew that was going to happen. And he's like, what about us? And he basically says, we're the rocks on which the Deacon built his church. We're his St. Peter's. Who other than us three have more legitimate claim on the legacy that Deacon Blackfire will leave behind? And he may be gone to meet his maker, but they aren't. And they'll be remaining behind to carry the good work because someone has to run Gotham City. And again, oh, goodness gracious, more of the reporter here. So she reports that Commissioner Gordon is resting after being shot. He was gunned down by one of Deacon's Blackfire's sewer grate snipers. Doctors believe he'll make a full recovery, and he's got around the clock protection. And here's the nurse. And just on cue. This is very cool from not, and all of a sudden here, this is very cool here. As you can see, Batman. And he tells him he's been expecting him, and Batman, I like this part here. Those two are pretty good friends, so says he's been kind of busy. He's returning to Gotham, and it's time to reclaim the city. Gordon says it's good. He says, clean that bastard's clock for me, will ya? And he says, you got it, old friend. And I love this of Batman. He's best drawn when it's dark. Then they come, and they're like, I could have sworn he was talking to someone. And you can see Batman's gone. So now we're at the Abraham Lincoln Bridge, which is supposed to be like the Washington Bridge in New York City. And we got some of the Deacon's henchmen underneath. And they're like, no one's crazy enough to come in that direction. Suddenly there's light. And ladies and gentlemen, you're about to see the coolest, most badass Batmobile ever. And you can see the big tires. So like I said, this is the coolest Batmobile ever. If I ever, I can see Simon Bisley drawing something like this, but look at this. Look at this. This is so cool. Um, that is so cool. So, coolest Batmobile. So they're shooting to injure, not shooting to kill. Um, and so they want to make sure that they clear this so that the army can get through. And Batman says, unlike the army, he doesn't mind causing a little property damage. Again, look at this awesome, awesome God. It's probably the best thing about it. I mean, this miniseries is pretty good, but this friggin' Batmobile is so friggin' cool. So, um, he takes this guy here. He's like, please don't kill me. And Batman's like, quit sniveling. You're not going to die. He wants him to deliver a message. Go to Deacon Blackfire and tell him the Batman is coming from him. And here's Batman holding the machine gun. I don't know if that would happen now in 2024 or even, anything past all these shootings, but Batman holding a gun is still just because you never see it. So, and so we get more reporting. So basically, she's just saying Batman is in. The Deacon is super happy. He's like, oh, finally, this divine drama is playing itself out, and says that when Batman arrives, bring him to the arena. He'll be waiting there, and he's not to be harmed. He wishes to face a whole and hearty adversary. So, but his people have other plans. They're like, Batman has to be stopped at any chance, stop dead. And again with this freaking cool Batmobile. Golly. Everyone should draw. Everyone should do this Batmobile. I mean, look at this sucker. Um, Man, that is so cool. That is badassery. I tell you, that is so cool. So, Robin's trying to take him out with tranquilizer darts. This one was trying to get help. I would have remained hidden until it was safe, but she didn't. So, um, they try to kill her. Robin does what he can, but they're not able to stop him. Batman feels sad and that he's not able to do anything, but they got to be carry on. And she's sort of narrating what's kind of going on. So Robin asks Robin asks Batman how he's doing. Batman says that he'll tell him once he reaches the Gotham Square. In the meantime, to get back up in the turret. So, two cars are the radar picks up two cars in their tail. So, um, Robin says, "Dust 'em." So now we got the Deacon again. We're setting up this epic fight. The Deacon says his martyrdom is at a hand. They're gonna wipe out the world of the evil of mankind. A great purge, and tells God that when he enters his kingdom, Batman will be at his side. And as the this badass Batmobile goes through Batman, they see all the people that have been hung and executed. God, this vehicle is so freaking cool. And Robin's just can't believe what he's seeing, like the Nazi Holocaust. Batman tells him the madness must stop, and you're about to see it, just an even better. As much as this Batmobile is, it's even cooler right here. My God, this thing is so cool. All right, so it's deserted, and Robin wonders where everyone is. Um, so they're say Batman says they're all waiting, and Robin's like waiting for what? And Batman says a signal. Look at them as they all attack. Um, I don't know how you got all these people. I mean, that is all these people were living in the sewers for real. But man, look at that freaking cool Batmobile. So they're climbing it, and Batman knows that they'll rip it up eventually, but they'll be gone by then. There's an escape hatch in place with the timer set, and asks Robin if he's ready to go. Robin says yes, and then they're all like, "It's opening. Let me at him, kill him." And then they get in, and they're like, "Hey," and they're like, "Where is he?" And then they realize that they're all gone. They were up in a crate to get into the sewer, and then they're gonna go after them. But then they use gas and to knock them out. So Batman sort of remembers the way to get to the Deacon. Suddenly, more people are on them. So using their tranquilizers, which looks just like they wouldn't shoot like guns, but I get what they're doing. So um, they're hitting those spotlights, and they're gonna use the gas and put on the night vision goggles, and off they go. So he throws that explosion, says that it'll keep them off their trails for a while, but you can see that someone's waiting for them. Shoots Robin in the leg, and Batman hits him with his own gun, bandages him up, and so Batman's gonna go after the Deacon by himself because Robin um, can't go along with him because he got nicked. Which I don't believe that would stop him from going with him, but hey, gotta have Batman go solo. So, all right, and Batman can't believe what he's seeing. Um, can't believe that the Deacon is doing all this. So Batman says it's time to put an end to the insanity. He kicks the door down, and there's the Deacon waiting. And he says, "Welcome to my martyred. Ah, my goodness, I cannot say that word. Martyrdom party." So, and Batman kind of sees him as the demon, kind of remembering what he used to be. He says, "Do it. Use the gun. Is that's what you want?" That's what he wants him to do. Aims it, and he's like, "Give me death." He decides to toss the gun away because that's not how he does things. And so here comes the demon who's angry. He's like, "You won't cheat me of my glorious death." So here comes the fight. And he's not going to give him the fight. And is just going to fight him. Just kind of beats him because he's Batman and Batman's the best. So, and he's like, "Please, no more. I can't take any more." So everybody just sees the Deacon beaten, and the three here just can't believe what they're seeing, and he's like, "You got to do something." And he's like, "Goodbye, Batman," but he's hit with the dart, and it was Robin who followed him, and they're like, "Kill him, my children, tear him apart." But they go in to rush him. I love how the angry and the color. The color does seem appropriate this time, but they don't go after Batman. They instead go after the Deacon, and Robin's like, "They're tearing him to pieces. We should." And Batman's like, "There's nothing we can do. There's too many of them, and they're too crazy to listen." And they're like, "It's over." And so the reporter here says that the army has taken control. Police are returning to their normal patrols. They're going to have mass burials for all the Deacon's victims. Most of Blackfire's people are now in custody. Some returned back to the citizens have returned. I would never go back. You know, in comic books, of all places to live, number one would probably be New York City, the Marvel Universe, New York City. But of places to not live, Gotham City is like that is the worst city in the world, man. So, um, the government promises to find a way to alleviate homelessness, which of course, um, all cities say they're gonna do that, but they never do. So, she's saying everything's returning to normal, and she for one says thank God. But then here we go. Unfortunately, there's always a loose end or two. And so we're in our last page here. So Batman is coming with some gasoline, with a gasoline canister, and he basically states here that the crazy mob didn't leave enough for the Deacon for proper identification. Still, there's little doubt that he's dead, forever gone. Was he a mad supernatural mystic or just a con man who let his game get out of hand? I guess we'll never know. The only legacy he left was this totem, and it's not talking. And Batman fills it up with gas and throws in a match. And he says, I know it's just a hunk of old wood, harmless, but I don't care. There are some things in life you just don't take any chances with. So, what do you think of this story? I think it's a very long story, but it's concise. I mean, each issue is like 40, 50 pages. So, I mean, it's a 200 page uh book essentially. So, a lot happened. I think it could have been done in 3 issues actually, but because there was a kind of bit of a filler in it, but um Bernie Wrightson's art is absolutely amazing. So, hope you liked it. Batman the Cult 1 through 4, written by Jim Starlin and illustrated by, oh my goodness, Bernie Wrightson. Rest in peace, Bernie. And colored by Bill Reyes. Like, follow, subscribe, and thanks for listening. Goodbye.